everyone, we're back with another exciting episode of Let's Talk. I'm joined with my wonderful guests here, Agnik and Manav. How are you guys doing today?
Yeah, going all right. How about yourself?
Yeah, doing well, thank you. And how are you, mate?
I'm good as well. I'm good, thank you. How are you today?
Good, good, good. So we're here to talk about Culmin Education today. Boys, run me through what Culmin Education is about.
Yeah, Manav, you want to take that one?
Sure. So Culmin Education provides education to primary school kids and high school kids to prepare them for their school exams, for them to do well. Now, we have small classes and personalized teaching to them. We provide the correct guidance and strategies to help unlock their potential.
And what inspired you both to start Culmin Education? There's obviously a lot of tutoring firms that already exist. What differentiates you guys in particular compared to the rest?
I think growing up, going to like most of the top tier firms, what I found was there's just too many students in the class, and then what would happen is, well, like number one, they'll give the right content, sure, but then is that being matched with the right type of teaching? So if you're gonna have 30 to like 25, 30 students in a class, and you have so many like really hard content, how are you gonna be expected to learn much? So our initiative was essentially, well, we need to cut down on the number of students we have, need to make sure that when parents are giving their money, are they actually getting the support they actually need? Or is it like, I don't want to put any other words, but like not unprofessional people who are just there giving content and just expecting them to become wizards? So, yeah, so our initiative is essentially smaller classrooms, actually getting the support that students really need. We have a 24/7 question helpline. So, whenever a student has a question, they have to ask away, and we really want to reshape the way people or like students learn. Yeah.
That 24/7 helpline is so beneficial, especially after completing HSC. You just have those last minute assessments or those
Yeah.
essays that you want that recheck being done. And just to know and that peace of mind of having your tutors always available for that guidance is definitely beneficial for any student. So currently, you guys said that you're targeting both primary education and secondary education. What do you think is the difference between the teaching styles for younger kids compared to the older generations?
Yeah, Manav.
So, for the younger students, they require a little bit more guidance, encouragement, and building up their basics rather than problem solving questions itself. So, developing that thought process on how to solve these problems, how to counteract them, because they can be taught in a classroom. They might know how to solve a problem, but can they replicate it in a test? Can they replicate it a few months later when they're seeing this in the next grade or in a different situation? For year 12s and year 11s, the senior students, the approach is a little bit different, where they are more self-proactive to already have this problem-solving ability and then to know to replicate this within their exams.
Right. So one of the things that we can probably agree with is that when you go from primary education to secondary education, you feel that during the times of HSC, you need kind of like a mentor rather than a tutor. You need someone that can, go through the highs and lows of the HSC or the preliminary exams. So how do you cater for that? How are you mentoring your students? We often hear parents, they say, we're not going to put our children through sports during HSC. We want them to solely focus on their education. What's your tips and what's your advice for those parents?
100%. You touched on it just there. Any hobbies that any students have, you just cannot quit that. That's usually the opportunity for students to just get their mind fresh. Especially for my case during my HSC, I didn't stop my cricket. I kept playing. I used the time that I played cricket to get my mind off studies, to like really like recharge the battery, and then when I get home, I'd get back to working. So for us, how we mentor our students, we essentially, well, we guide them on what they should be doing each day. It's not necessarily the fact that how long you study. It's more of what kind of things you are studying and how efficient you are in studying it. So we try to build on good habits of memorizing, memorizing and learning and revising in short blocks. And obviously being able to assist 24/7. So yeah, when they have any questions, being there to help them, and also creating a plan of like how they can allocate the times for their hobbies. So yeah, that's the main things.
Right, we've just seen the HSC finish for this year, or we're about to approximately finish, and now a new batch of students are going to be starting the HSC exams. For the parents who don't understand how the system works, can you give a rough guide of what an assessment mark is and what the HSC mark, and how the total contributes to becoming your ATAR?
Yeah, so
Yes,
essentially, the
indeed.
assessment mark is your marks accumulated from school. Now, there's going to be heaps of high schools out there. You've got your Balcombe Hill, James Roos, and then you've got your local schools. Now, in order to calculate ATAR, they're not going to look at a Balcombe Hill student who's been averaging 20%, for example, in their school tests and be like, oh, well, he's not that smart, is he? So what they do is, okay, well, they'll grab the assessment marks, which is from the school, and then they grab the HSC mark. The HSC mark is what the students sit, which was just recently, end of October, around then, and they compare it. So they make a ranking system, and from that, they're able to determine, okay, well, you get this sort of mark here and there. Um, and yeah, so another key thing is ranks. Ranks are very important. The higher you rank, the better. Um, there is a bit of scaling involved. Also, there's like extension subjects such as Essential One Maths, English, and these ones scale well. So what exactly is scaling? It talks about how your mark ranges on it's like a normal distribution curve, and yeah, that's pretty much it. And have you want to add anything else to that?
So, no, I think you've covered everything there mainly. So, it is made up of half, your whole mark is made up of half of what you achieve in school and half of your HSC. And then, yeah, as Agnik said, that it is scaled between different schools to come up with your final ATAR, which is essentially not a mark, but a ranking, comparing you to the other students of New South Wales. So, for example, if you have received a ATAR of 95, this means your mark isn't 95, but you are within the top 5% of your cohort. So that's essentially how the assessment mark and the HSC mark come together to give you your rank, which is your ATAR.
A common misconception that Bengali parents or maybe every curry parent has is that my child should be doing all three sciences, 4 unit maths, 4 unit English. What can you guys say about that? Is that something that you guys recommend?
For my case, well, I mean, for everyone's case, I said definitely not. Definitely not. So, for example, for me, I did physics purely because of the scaling. And what happened was that wasn't my best, that was my worst performing subject. So, easily, like without a shadow of a doubt, do not do subjects for the pure expectation that you'll scale well. So, you need to do the subjects that you'll know that you'll enjoy, but then also do well in. So it needs to be a good balance, and we definitely can help figuring that out.
Yeah, so how about we get like a rough background of the tutors themselves? So what's your backgrounds? Where have you guys come from? Where'd you guys grow up?
Yeah, Manav, you can start that.
Yep, so I am from Blacktown Boys High School, graduating in 2021. I I had physics, English, PE, and Extension 2 mathematics that I went through. I achieved Band 6 in Extension 1 math and then E4 in Extension 2 as well. So that was my main subjects. And then I went on to tutor math and physics as well for the last couple of years. And
Yeah,
yeah,
and
Agnik.
yeah, so I also same school. So me and Manav were both in the same cohort. So graduating 21, and then for me, I did Extension 1 maths, got an E4 in that, got Band 6 in maths advanced, also did economics, English advanced, and physics. So those were my HSC subjects. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Yeah.
And what would you guys say was like the turning point? So you guys could have chosen to work for every other tutoring company out there. We know there's Art of Smart, Matrix Education, and all these types of firms. Why make something of your own, and why situate it? Why locate it in that area?
Yeah,
So,
Manav?
so the difference between big industrial firms of education and us, there is a difference in the way we cater to our students. If a student was to go to one of these other tutoring centers that you have mentioned, they will just be another number to them. Whereas to us, they are a whole person. They're a student that we will not only help with their mathematics per se, but also guide them, help build their confidence and their self-study routines to become better students, better learners, and confident learners. And in that way, not only do they grow in their marks, but also as a person to then, for us, mentoring them to get into their goals. So whether that be getting high marks in a test or to aim for a specific uni course, we offer that personalized and going above and beyond mentoring.
And what I
And
would
what's
just
your
add is
approach to? Yeah, go on.
yeah, so what I add is also the fact that we're based in Blacktown. Not necessarily does the education system change, but it's also a connection we have. We did all our high schooling there, and for my personally, like I played cricket for Blacktown for a season there. So, and Blacktown gets sometimes overlooked, so we want to make sure we're covering that space also. So yeah, that's very much it.
Are all the classes online, or do you guys have offline classes? How are the classes run?
So we have both in person. So we got our center in Blacktown, and then if need be, we have some homework help lessons online, and sometimes we cover for online lessons here and there.
Beautiful, beautiful. That's nice to hear. A lot of flexibility there. Now, what's your approach to tracking and monitoring a student's progress throughout the year? How are you guys making sure that the student is hitting their goals, or how do you help them decide the standards that they should make?
So, to monitor their progress throughout the term, we provide week to week recaps of what we have done the week before, making sure that they are understanding the concepts taught previously and we don't just find out at the end of the term because that becomes a big gap. So, we on a weekly basis we track their progress and see their improvements. Additionally, as an official mark, we also have termly tests to test their progress and to individually pick out where they are lacking, where they are making their mistakes, and then to then help them in the following term, and then have that test again as a recurring procedure of a consistent feedback loop to keep seeing what they are getting wrong and what we can do to help them from there to track their progress and learning.
Agnik, do you have any comment about that in terms of tracking and monitoring a student's progress throughout the year?
Yeah, I think I cut out there a bit. I think Manav would have touched on most of the stuff there, but yeah, definitely progress reports every half term, and then make sure we've got term tests each month. One differentiating thing is we try to make sure that when we do go through term tests, it's actually one on one. I feel as though, like as we might think, going through a test, each person has like different kind of mistakes, and then we need to make sure that well, are they learning from their mistake? I don't want to be like, oh, well, these guys got it right, you got it wrong, so now you're gonna just listen, everyone else is gonna shut off. That's not how we do it. We want to try and make it so that it's well, that's how we make it personalized in the sense that when different students get different questions wrong, well, we're catering to that by making sure there's a personalized lesson for them to cover those mistakes.
So we have the summer holidays coming up, and for a lot of students, that just means holidays. So what are some frequent or common study habits that you guys employ during the holidays that helps you become more prepared for the next semester?
So there are a few things that we have seen over the years the top students do to um, to stay ahead of the rest. And firstly, it's recapping everything they've done in the year, continuing doing those practice questions, and not just leaving it and then coming back to it the following year in school. So, building that study schedule as well in the holidays is very essential. So, making yourself organized before you even start the next year of school is very essential because you then hit the ground running. You know your pace, you know what to do, and from there it's just growing.
Great.
Agnik, can you add on to that?
Um, yeah, I think definitely revision is key. It's a golden point for whether you're ahead, whether you're behind, doesn't matter where you are. It's a golden period. Like you need to recharge your batteries for sure, but also make sure that you're revising on those content. Um, so what we will be doing during the holidays is we'll definitely have some holiday classes coming up. Um, so it'll be covering through mostly all the subjects. You've got your maths, English, and then if you've got your HSC year, then we've got physics covered. You've got your maths advanced, essential one. All of the English is covered. So if you have any questions on that, feel free to shoot a message, and we can cater to that.
I think one of the biggest perk of your education company is the fact that you guys have finished HSC recently. So we know a lot of tutoring companies, they've been operating for a long time, but the curriculum has changed. Especially after I've graduated in 2018, I did notice that a lot of the curriculum, a lot of the syllabuses have changed. So can you explain why that's important? Why is it important for someone who's finished the HSC recently to be teaching these students?
It's massive because, like, for us, at least when we graduated, I think it was the second year, I think, wasn't it, Manav? The second
Yep.
year of the new syllabus. And it'll be changing again very soon. I think 26 or 27, either one of those. So the syllabus will change again. So at that point, we didn't really know what was happening. And similarly, for our tutors at that time, they didn't know what was going to happen. And we didn't have much to work off because all the previous HSC papers were all based on the old syllabus. And what we found is the year before and then our HSC was like completely different. There's a completely different approach, lots of new things that were introduced. I think calculus was shifted here and there. There was a bit of harder stuff there. So it's really important that the tutors are on board with what the syllabus is demanding. And it's just really important to make sure that you're learning the right stuff.
And how are you guys going to help with specific exams? For example, the NAPLAN exams in May. So what's your advice for parents who are looking forward to teaching their kids and prepare for their children for NAPLAN?
So the way in which we help our NAPLAN students is by providing all the subjects, of course, so between the 4 subjects. And then our approach is personalized. So in the way they need help, we cater to that. Because of course, every student is different. You cannot have a fixed strategy to help every single person. It just ends up failing. So that personalized approach is what we provide for our NAPLAN students. Practice is key, past papers is key, practice questions with time is key. Practice questions in an exam setting is also very, very important. Working and in a distractive environment is not going to help because that's not going to be the test environment. And yeah, just simulating yourself in the test environment, keeping the practice there it'll keep you on the pathway to do well for NAPLAN.
What I might add is so we do keep harping on about personalized, like what does that really mean? So just want to like define that for you guys. Essentially that just means making sure that we're actually catering to the students' needs. So that number one starts off with, okay, well, we've got the lesson, but then we need to form a lesson plan. Now, sometimes student might be already good at a subject or like a topic, a subtopic of that subject. Well, guess what? We'll just move on. We'll get some testing done quickly, keep that on the back burner, and then we'll move on with a new plan. Making sure when we do a test, we need to make sure that we go through the mistakes separately, not as a group. That's very important to make sure that each person gets their mistake addressed and they actually get to learn from their mistakes. And also having weekly mentor catch-ups. So that includes building good study habits, making sure that they're on progress, they're ticking each box each day, getting a bit each done. Consistency is very key, and also help with anything else, whether it be with their hobbies or anything from schoolwork or assignments. So we're really flexible with that.
Guys, what's some of the feedback that you guys have copped so far?
So we've had some students finish the HSC this year, and so we've had students for English, math, and physics just finishing the HSC. We have received feedback from the students themselves and their parents on how they themselves have seen the progress through where they started to where they ended up. We have seen massive improvements in our students as well, massive growth, becoming more confident and just stronger within their subjects. On an overall basis as well, it is consistent with our other students, our younger students as well. They do improve. They do improve. In math, they improve really quickly. In English, takes a little bit longer because that's how English generally is. It's a long-term subject to build upon. And given the right time guidance, our students are doing well.
Yeah, so one of our students is in year 9 at the moment, so he started in year 7 with us. He wasn't the best at maths. He wouldn't say he would be confident, but right now in year 9, he's currently ranked 2 in his class, so he has been on a really good streak with his exams. So it just goes down to making sure that we're addressing his problems and really supporting him when he needs it. Yeah.
Beautiful, guys. We're nearly at the end. So what's some of the ways that people can contact you guys?
So we've got our website, so www.culmin.com.au, or there's a number on that, 0450866085. Just feel free to message or email us, whatever is fine. We always get started with a trial lesson. The purpose of the trial lesson is to just make sure we know who you are, and you get to know us, need to know what the students up to, where they are. So it gives us a good image of whereabouts they are. We don't want to just put them in a class, or if we know that they're not up to the mark just yet, and we do whatever it takes to make sure that they're eventually getting ahead of school. Yeah.
Beautiful. Thank you, guys. Thank you for your time. I hope to see you guys soon, and thank you for your contributions to the video. I'll see you guys soon.
Thank you so much.
Thanks for having us.
See ya.